Hello children, today let us have a look at the summary of the lesson Oliver asks for more. This lesson is an extract from the novel Oliver and it was written by Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens is a novelist of the Victorian era. He writes novels which depicts the lifestyle of the people in that era. Here in this story, we come across a boy named Oliver who is an orphan. Here in this story, we see Bumble getting him to the workhouse. Now let me tell you a bit of flashback of Oliver's life. Oliver was born in a children's home wherein as soon as he is delivered, his mother dies. And after that, right from the day he was born, he is brought up in the children's home. Children's home is a place where children are taken care, or you can say an orphanage, wherein children have food they need, the clothes made into boys, or they're little bit grown up to a teenage. And once they reach the teenage, they are sent to the workhouse where they are expected to learn a trade in order to make a living. That is, in the children's home, they are treated like children. And once they grow up, they are sent to the workhouse wherein they are expected to learn a trade or an occupation or living. Here in this lesson, we have the story beginning at the moment where Oliver is taken from the children's home to the workhouse because he has grown up a little bit. Maybe he is 13 to 14 years old. Here we see Bumble. Bumble is a person who is taking Oliver from the children's home to the workhouse. He takes Oliver by hand and then he takes him to a live board. And we all know a board in the sense we have an image that a board is a blackboard, and we have an assumption that a blackboard is non-living. So we feel that a board is something which is non-living. And here Oliver was the same, as he was a small boy and he has never gone out of children's home. He knew only the board, that is a blackboard. And here Bumble takes him to the live board. Live board in the sense there are so many people sitting there. There are so many gentlemen sitting there and they are supposed to interview Oliver. They are going to give Oliver a brief introduction about the workhouse. They are going to inquire him. They are going to question him. That is what the live board was. Firstly, Oliver was very shocked to look at the live board. Actually expected something else, and here board is something, that is, there are so many people sitting over there. And we all know when we look at strangers, there are so many people at a time and everyone is very much dressed up so neatly, and it was a very strange sight for Oliver. So he was very much scared and he was very much tensed, you can say. And then one of the gentlemen in the high chair has said that, listen to me. Then here he sees that they ask him the name. What's your name, boy? Asked the gentleman. And here Oliver is already in a bit of confusion that what he expected was something else, and here he sees the live board in a different way. He was already in a confused state, and there were tears in his eyes because he could not see a board. There was just a table over there, and one of the gentlemen asked him what was his name. And Oliver, since he was in a confused state, he did not answer. So Beadle gave him a hit on the back. He hit him with the cane. You can see Beadle over there, the man with a huge tummy over there. He has a stick in his hand. Stick. Cane means stick. He bet Oliver with the stick. And boy, said the gentleman in the high chair, listen to me. You know you are an orphan now. Oliver did not tell his name, so they just ignored it. And then as Beadle bet him, he was just in tears. And then one of the men asked him that he was an orphan. Now Oliver did not know the term what orphan was, so he asked the gentleman, "Oh sir, I don't know what that word means. What is that, sir?" asked Oliver. "The boy is a fool, I thought he was," said the gentleman. "They said that looking at his posture and his appearance, already I guess that he would be a foolish boy, and exactly that is what he is." And one of the persons, he explained him that orphan means one who doesn't have a father or a mother. And that he explains him that if Oliver was aware that he was brought up by the parish means the church bore all the expenses for Oliver's education, maybe clothing, maybe food, maybe all the expenses were done by the church. So they are asking Oliver, do you remember, or do you know that all the expenses we have brought you up with our own expense, with the expense of the church? Then Oliver now realizes that he is an orphan. He doesn't have a father or a mother, and everything is done by the church, and he starts weeping bitterly, crying bitterly. And then one of the gentlemen was very much angry actually. "You are already an orphan, and we told you, we just reminded you, and we want to have a confirmation with you, and you are crying. What's this?" He didn't like Oliver crying like that. And then one among them asked, "I hope you say your prayers every night." That is, in the orphanage generally they pray for the people who donate money for the expenses for their education and all their accommodation and all. For those expenses, people need to donate money for them. They all pray every day. They pray for the well-being of those people. So one of them asked, "Do you pray for all the people who donated money for your education?" Then, "Yes," stammered the boy. Stammered in the sense he did not have a clear-sighted reply because he was in a state of confusion. Another thing, because he was termed an orphan, he was depressed. He was very much into a shock state, like, "Am I an orphan? And I didn't realize it." So that is what his condition was. So he did not give a clear reply. He just stammered. Stammered means little bit he is hesitating, little bit is stopping and telling, "Yes, sir. Well, you have come here to be educated and taught a useful trade. Now you know why you have been shifted from the children's home to the workhouse. It is because you have to learn some trade. You have to pick oakum tomorrow morning." Oakum means some of the ropes that are untied from the ship and the boat. There are so many loads that are tied with the rope, and they come over there. All those ropes, they have to untwist them and make them, collect them. That is called a picking oakum. He has to go to pick oakum the next day at 6 o'clock. And Oliver bowed low, directed by the Beadle. So the speech was over, the inquiry was over. So he bowed to them as the Beadle directed him. He bowed to the board, and then he went to his room. That room was a rough, hard bed. That was the bedding for him. It was very rough and hard. And he sobbed, means he was generally, when you keep crying for a long time, there are no more tears coming out, and you keep sobbing. You have this. That is what Oliver was doing, and at last he fell asleep. And then as he fell asleep, there were so many discussions that were going on in the live board. Now the live board, unlucky Oliver as he was, as he entered the workhouse, that was the day that the board was making a decision. What was the decision is, till now all the children in the workhouse had enough breakfast, dinner, tea, supper, everything free of cost, and just playing the whole day. So these people have decided today that from now onwards onwards cut the food. We are going to lessen the food, and now we are going to serve them gruel in the sense the porridge, the soup sort of thing that we make with the rice flour or the ragi flour. That is what is called the gruel. So every day we are going to serve them 3 times gruel, and the special dish would be the onion. Twice a week, that might be the special dish. And now onwards the menu has changed. Whatever food they were being served all these days is completely changed. Now onwards is just thin gruel, because all the children were lazy, they were not working. And it was the you can say it was the unlucky Oliver, that's a misfortune of Oliver, that as soon as he came the entire rules changed. And here this happened for many days, and all the children who were there in the workhouse, all of them became slimmer and slimmer, very thin, because there was no food for them. Boys have a good appetite, they have a good digesting capability, they want more and more food, and here there was just starvation. And these people had decided that either they have to starve gradually in the workhouse, or if they go out, no one will give them food, ultimately they will die soon. So instead of that, they have to stay in the workhouse and starve gradually. So here all the children, they were really hungry all the time. This thin gruel, as soon as they drank and went for work, immediately everything digested. So they were very hungry all the time. And along with Oliver Twist, there lived so many boys. One among them was a very strong and tall boy, and what he said is, if you do not give me extra food, now I am very hungry all the time, if you do not give me extra food, I will eat any one of you in the night. When you are asleep, I will come and eat any one of you, he said. And all the children, they were all hungry, but as this boy was very hefty and tall, they were really scared, and they really believed that if they do not give him any extra bowl or extra food, he may really eat them. So now they wanted to make a decision who should ask for the extra food, because no one had the guts to ask the extra food. Whatever one basin gruel they gave, that only they had eaten. Now they do not know who should ask the extra food. And now they put some lots. Lots means chits. They put all their names into the chits. They wrote all the names, and everyone picked up one chit. And the first chance, the person who has to get the extra food for that boy is that name ultimately to Oliver Twist. So the first person from that entire gang who is going to ask for the extra food, not for himself, for that tall boy, is Oliver Twist. He has to get the extra gruel. So the day came when he has to ask for the extra gruel. You can see in the picture how the gruel was served. Here you can see a man with a ladle. Ladle means the spoon with which we serve is called the ladle, and he has 2 assistants over there. And as soon as the gruel was given to them, all the children drank immediately, and the dishes also did not have to be washed. They licked every drop of gruel from the dish. Such hungry the boys were. And after they finished eating the gruel or drinking the gruel, they all eagerly looked at the basin, that bowl. You can see the aluminium one on the red color, this oven sort of thing. That thing, everyone used to look at it very eagerly if they would get even a drop extra. Okay, so here Oliver also finished the gruel, but today he has to ask for the extra gruel. If he doesn't get the extra gruel, that fellow might eat him today's night. So he was so scared, and so he thought it's better to live going and asking for the extra gruel rather than die in the hands of that tall boy who might eat him off. So he put all his guts together. He took all the whatever courage he has, whatever courage, he gathered all the courage, and he said to the man, I want some more. As soon as he asked, I want some more, here you can Cynic all around. How dare you ask for some? Is it a crime to ask for extra food? He was hungry, he asked, but that was made into a big issue. It was reported to the board, and then the thing was passed on to Beadle, and Beadle was immediately called for. And here you say, what was the crime that Oliver committed here? The crime was he asked for extra food, and then immediately the next day Oliver was scheduled to be thrown out of the workhouse, because if they encourage or if they leave him like that, all the children might have the courage to ask for extra food, and no one there won't be any fear left out in the other children. So they decided to throw Oliver out of the workhouse, and here there was a board put up outside the workhouse telling that a reward of £5 would be given to anyone who takes Oliver Twist along with them. That is, the one who takes Oliver will get £5 along with Oliver. So that was the offer given to whoever was willing to take Oliver with them. So after this, Oliver is sold to a person. So here we see how the condition of the children in the workhouse was in those days, where they were given very less food and they were made to work a lot, and how the rich people dominated the poor children, and how pathetic the condition of the tender children was. Hope you all understood this lesson. Thank you, children. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.